as everyone may know or may not know, Governor Greg Abbott is a huge Donald Trump supporter. Okay. He believes that Donald Trump's position on immigration is the right one, and the one that Joe Biden has been doing with his administration obviously is not. I'm going to actually play a little video of what he was saying during his RNC speech, and then we'll get back into it for my commentary.
There's no longer 5,000 people crossing the border like there was under Joe Biden. Now that the National Guard wired that shut, on average, there is one illegal immigrant crossing the border at that location a day. When Joe Biden and Kamala Harris refused to even come to Texas and to see the border crisis that they created, I took the border to them.
So I'm gonna be real, after watching what he said and how he got the crowd moving, I see why people would vote for him. Okay, if you live in the state of Texas, I can see why people will vote for him with these ideas. Some people may say radical ideas that he has. So I didn't play obviously the whole video. The video was about 7 minutes long. I only played a little snippet of it, but I'll give you a little summary of everything else that he was saying. He was saying how Texas has the largest border. Okay, so it's a huge problem with people coming in because, hey, most of them are going to be coming in over here. Okay, he was also saying that, yes, our main issue that we have in Texas in particular, even though he didn't mention it, but the power grid, okay, not winterizing it, etc., but, or being connected to everyone else's power grid, but I guess we're not talking about that. But in terms of immigration, he's talking about we need to secure the border, and Donald Trump seems to be the person to do that, okay? He was mentioning that under his ruling, under his guidance, that's when there was a whole bunch of deportation going on. I see why people would agree with something like that. I personally feel like this, and these are my own personal opinions, you come into the country legally, okay? I believe that, yes, people can immigrate into other areas of the world. Fine, that's perfectly fine. But you must do it in a legal way. So for me, if I want to go anywhere, I'm going to have a passport. If you want to have a weapon, or if you want to have some substance, whatever the case may be, you need to follow, if you're in the States, you need to follow the laws of the next state. So what may be cool in Texas may not be cool in Illinois. What's cool in Illinois may not be cool in New York. What's cool in New York may not be cool in Montana. Okay, so you have to also follow the rules, okay, as much as possible. So if I have to abide by different rules of different states, and if I want to go to Canada, for example, and I need to have a passport, if I want to go to Russia, for example, and I need to have a visa, if I have to do all of this stuff, legal paperwork, why is it that you believe that you could just come to my country and you don't have to follow any rules, regulations, nothing at all? How is that fair that you don't have to follow any rules or regulations, but I have to follow all the rules and regulations, or I could be locked up, or something could happen to me, but nothing can happen to you? How is that fair? Okay, but let's get into what he was saying. He was saying that under Trump, because he had a whole bunch of deportations going on, that it was the lowest illegal border crossing that he has seen in decades. Okay, also another thing that he mentioned was how Biden and Kamala did not go to the border. And I've seen other videos on YouTube, and when I say seen them, I mean like people who are physically at the border, or one that I seen from another channel where they had a guy who was at the border. He was like, I'm gonna put in my retirement. He's like, I can't do this. He said once Biden, because he's been there for years, and he was saying once Biden got into office, he was like, this stuff skyrocketed. And then they're like, oh, we're gonna just, let's say we got 15 people, we'll reduce it to about 4. So now you have less people to monitor what's going on, and they do it deliberately. And he was saying it's just gotten to a point of ridiculousness. It's gotten to a point where I'm like, you know what? I don't even care anymore. I don't even want to be a part of this. I got to swap jobs because of what you all are doing and what you all have proceeded to allow. Okay, so that's one of the things. All right, and Abbott was saying, Joe, he's just openly allowing them to come in, and that's a problem. But I don't have an issue, and I'm sure many people don't have issues when you come here legally. Cool, I can't say anything. But when you choose to break the law of the land, you choose to come here illegally, I'm just supposed to be like, oh, it was perfectly fine and go ahead and take our resources. I don't think so. Okay. And that's the problem, because that's what y'all are doing, is taking people's resources. Okay. Meanwhile, we're still suffering. We're still struggling, but you get to now live it up. Okay. Come on now. How was that fair? He was mentioning his tactics that he's used, and he was saying about those circular wires, so saws, if you could say, where it was like these little buoy kind of things, where they were like these giant orange balls, and they were just wrapped around the border essentially, so you can't pass, and in between were razors going in between them. Okay, and that was, I mean, these things are big, so if you can manage to pass it, you probably still won't, because you got to go all the way under if you're trying to do it, or get over. But then there's literally a knife. I mean, it's literally razors, that are going through, so if you could pass all that. And I remember when that happened, people were like, man, that's so inhumane. Why would you allow that? And I'm not trying to be mean or anything, but I don't think you're supposed to be coming this way anyways. That's the thing, would you allow me without my passport to go to the airport and be like, okay, I want to go to Canada, y'all. Let's go to Germany. They'd be like, where's your passport? Oh, well, I shouldn't have to provide one because I just want a better life over there. No, that's not how that works. You don't just get to illegally come over. You need to provide the proper documentation. But the government, our government, is allowing that. Yes, is it some people will argue it's a barbaric way. He does not appear to believe that. He believes this is a deterrent. You shouldn't be coming down here anyways. You shouldn't be coming this way, committing a crime anyways. So why should it be an issue if you're not coming this way? There's plenty of other areas that you could go through, but you chose to come here, and that's why that was his justification for it. All right, but some of the other stuff that I was looking at, these people, when they come over, they have an app on their phone where essentially they could say, like, okay, let's say I'm in Texas. What state do you want to go to? Oh, well, I want to go to New York, or I want to go to Massachusetts, let's say. I want to go to Massachusetts. Okay, well, let's make sure it's a sanctuary city. Okay. And then boom, 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 boom. Let's go and put you in whatever state you want to go to. Okay. Now, here, what Abbott was talking about was, yeah, when we see them, we go and pop them over there to Washington, pop them over there to Chicago, pop them over there to New York. Okay. And some of these mayors over there have even said, like, oh, you see what they're doing, so inhumane. And yeah. And then he's like, okay, well, here, you can have them then. And then now people are noticing how flooded and how much their resources are being drained. They're like, goodness, man, we got to provide all this space. We got to get food. We got to have all these other budgets for them, yada, yada, yada. Meanwhile, you're not taking care of your own citizens. But here's my thing. You can debit cards, okay? That's only supposed to be for food. But then I'm seeing on the news, I think it was in Chicago, if I'm not mistaken. I seen on the news, it was someone who was not legal. Let's keep it real. Because they even said it in the news, all right? They were saying that this person was an immigrant, but, okay? They were saying, like, okay, yeah, this person, they had their kid on their back and whatnot, even though the kid looked like they were too big to be on the back, but whatever. And they had their kid on the back, and they were selling, like, candy, like, let's say, like, Snicker bars and stuff like that. And I was looking, I was like, well, if y'all don't have a job, because that's the whole reason why you're doing this, because you say you don't have a job. And I'm like, if y'all not legal to work here, because that's the whole point of the news story, is that they were not legally able to work here. I said, so you can't be paying taxes on this. There's no 1099 or anything like that. And I was like, well, how did you get this food? So myself. I'm thinking, did you use the debit cards to go and buy this? Even though debit cards only supposed to be for you, but now you're using it to start businesses? I guess I'm confused as to how you even obtain this when they don't at shelters give out Mars bars and Snickers and Kit Kats and all this other stuff. So how did you get it? So that's what I guess I'm confused about. And are you paying taxes? Because I know with me, they would say, oh, you got to have a sales tax, you got to have a work, sales permit. Oh, we got to tax you on this, we got to tax you on this, and you better have your W-2s, you better have your 10-9, you better have. So I wonder, are you having the same thing, or are you just exempt from that? Because if you're exempt from that, then everybody else should be exempt from that, right? Right. All right. So then you're getting 3 meals a day. Legally, they're supposed to do that. Okay. You're getting 3 meals a day. You're getting water. You're getting all these other resources. Heck, you got even some people who are getting driver's license, which I don't understand how that works. But they're getting driver's license and they're driving for Uber and Lyft, which I, again, don't understand how that works. Now, unless someone is pretending to, using a legitimate person's information, I don't get how that works. And then we're seeing people looting, committing crimes as well. Okay. So I guess I don't get it. And then you're getting, I don't get it, so that's something that makes no sense to me. But what he was saying overall throughout this whole thing was, yes, you either need to get locked up or you need to get deported. You can't just be roaming free. And a lot of people understand that. And, people want to say Biden, but Biden's good. This is why people are pushing towards Trump, because they're seeing like, you don't really care about us. And people will say, oh, well, Trump doesn't either. Well, at least one of the issues are getting addressed or will get addressed when he's in there. As opposed to with Biden, for example, he's saying let everybody come in and, oh, we're still going to treat you guys like crap. But let's also allow them to vote if we can. Let's try to make that legal so that they could vote. So it's all of these things that are coalescing with one another. But let me know what you all feel. Are you in support of Greg Abbott? Do you have different criticisms of him? Do you feel like with this particular issue, do you feel that you're on his side or against it? What are your opinions? Let me know down below.